Senate, that's not quite the panacea for the left that they think it is. If you take away the 60-vote threshold, you still have a 50-50 Senate. And the minority, given the way the Senate operates, is not toothless. For example, it takes 51 members to have a quorum, and the vice president doesn't count. The Senate, for those of you who observe it every day, which is most of you,
this last year has been the worst year for our country and maybe the world in a very, very long time. And I don't have to tell you about that. You know it. We have lost 500,000 Americans, died of the COVID disease. The economy has gone downhill big time.
Fourth stimulus checks and third stimulus checks, everybody. Now guys, the great news is that the IRS is now starting to distribute the third round of stimulus checks, which is worth up to $1,400 per eligible adult and child. But the timing of getting a check may depend partly on a bank's policies, with some customers of JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo expressing frustration after the bank said that the stimulus payments will not be available until tomorrow, March 17th. Now folks, if you would like to know where your stimulus check is at, then be sure to log onto the IRS website and go into the Get My Payment tool. That way you'll be able to track your third stimulus check and how much you're eligible for. Now the big question is, will there be a fourth round of stimulus payments? Well, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell last month made a good case for the government to spend more stimulus relief. He said that the economy is highly uncertain, and he also indicated that stimulus checks are not likely to drive up inflation. CEOs of retail chains also might like to see more government cash going to consumers. Retail sales surged in January after the second round of stimulus checks went out. But a plan for the future recurring stimulus checks would have no shortage of detractors. Republicans oppose the third stimulus checks as expensive and unnecessary, and moderate Democrats may feel that way about recurring payments. They demanded changes for the third round to target the stimulus checks toward the neediest Americans. Beyond the likely opposition, after all, Democrats pushed the Biden stimulus bill through Congress using a budget process that allowed them to pass legislation with simple majorities. Typically, bills needed a 60-vote supermajority to make it through the Senate because of what's called the filibuster rule. Biden and Democrats can use a streamlined go it alone approach just one more time in 2020. And then they have to wait until next fiscal year, which starts on October 1st to do that. Now guys, banks like Chase and Wells Fargo said the funds were not clear until Wednesday. Wells Fargo added that would waive any overdraft fees that occur as a result of the issue. They tweeted out, "Our goal is to support our customers, and we will proactively reverse outstanding Wells Fargo fees, including overdraft fees, for those who have qualifying negative ending daily balance when the stimulus payment is deposited." They also added, "As we did for our prior stimulus payments, we will reach out proactively to the customers who have a qualifying negative ending daily balance on the day prior to the deposit. Most Americans will receive one of the $1,400 checks, but not everyone will receive a check immediately. The IRS will send the checks in batches over the next few days and weeks. People who have filed the 2020 or 2019 tax returns and have a bank information on file with the tax agency are more likely to receive their stimulus checks through direct deposit." Those of you on SSI and SSDI, Social Security survivor benefits are paid to widows, widowers, and dependents of eligible workers. This benefit is particularly important to young families with children. Now you may receive survivor's benefits when a family member dies. You and your family could be eligible for benefits based on the earnings of a worker who died. The deceased person must have worked long enough to qualify for benefits. The Supplemental Security Income Program, or SSI, provides monthly payments to adults and children with a disability or blindness and who have income and resources below specified amounts. SSI payments can also be made to people 65 and older without disabilities who meet the financial limits. People who have worked long enough may also qualify to receive Social Security disability or retirement benefits as well as SSI. The Social Security and SSDI program provides assistance to people with disabilities. It will pay benefits to you and certain family members if you are insured. For your health benefits under COBRA, the COBRA Act gives workers and their families who lose their health benefits the right to choose to continue group health benefits provided by the group health plan. So that's all the news in today's video, everybody. Hopefully you guys found this video useful and helpful. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and give this video a like.
Meaning many workers, some 10 million people in the country lost their jobs Go to any downtown in Vermont and you're going to see small businesses that have been shut down. And you and the younger people of this country, millions of you, have seen your lives disrupted in a way that we have never seen before. You have not been able to go to school. You're worried about your educational futures. You've not been able to socialize with your friends. You're worried about your parents. You're worried about financial resources of your families. It has been an incredibly disruptive year. And what we have seen all across this country is a rise in people who are dealing with stress and drug problems now, and domestic violence, and all kinds of things that have come about because of the isolation that people are feeling. It is a very unnatural situation not to be able to be with your friends and your family and so forth and so on. So what I wanted to do tonight are just a couple of things. I think it's important for us to know that everything that we are experiencing, we're not the only one who's experiencing it. A lot of people in Vermont are experiencing it, kids are experiencing it, older people, and it's important that we talk about it so that we can share the experiences. And the second thing that I need from you, as your senator, is your ideas about where we go from here. The good news, and there's several pieces of good news, I think, is that number one, as all of you know, vaccines have been developed. They are now being distributed widely throughout our state, throughout the country. More and more people are becoming vaccinated. We're looking at 2 or 3 million people every day who are getting vaccinated. And that is the light at the end of the tunnel. The day will come sooner or later when people will be vaccinated and we can go back to a normal life.
It basically operates on unanimous consent. Only one senator is required to deny unanimous consent. Why would those kinds of reprisals, if you will, be under consideration? Simply because fracturing the legislative filibuster changes the Senate institutionally forever. This is no small matter. I, as you recall, said no to President Trump on numerous occasions to his suggestion that the Republican majority in the Senate do the same thing. He tweeted against me. I stood up for the institution. At least so far, it doesn't appear the Democratic majority leader is going to stand up for the institution. They continue to wave this threat over the minority, and our anticipation is that this is designed to ratchet up the pressure on Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema, who've made it clear that they think the way the Senate functions should not be changed.